And the Oscar race continues. Okay, last night actually I saw for the first time Beasts of the Southern Wild. I was going to do the review. I was going to do the review, but then at the last second I decided I'll watch Terms of Endearment. I was actually about halfway through, and I watched the other half, and I was a little blubbery last night after watching that for the very first time. So nobody will take me seriously if I do a review now, I said. So I waited. Now I'm calm. I'm over Deborah Winger in that movie, and I'm over Shirley MacLaine in that movie, so I'm good. Okay, Beasts of the Southern Wild. It stars. Okay, I know. I've been working all day on this. It's Quennevale Wallace, I think, and then also Dwight Henry, whose name is much easier to pronounce. And they star as Hush Puppy and what's his name? I think it starts with a Wink. That's it. Yeah, sorry, my memory. This is all fresh, of course. This is all, or not fresh. This is all non-scripted. It's all from the memory, so it's going to be a little. Some spots are probably going to be filled with total silence where I'm thinking, so bear with me through that. So basically, I normally with these reviews, if I see it on DVD or in the case of Lord of the Rings VHS, I've already seen it. But this was I rented it, so yeah, I won't have the extended, scene by scene review like those, and I won't reveal anything because actually I don't think a whole lot of people have seen it yet. But yes, I totally recommend Beasts of the Southern Wild. It's a good film. I wouldn't quite say it's as Oscar caliber as the few others. It's not. It's one of the few. Well, I haven't seen Amour or Django, so and I'm not going to review them before Oscar night. And then right after this, I'm going to do Argo, which I've seen a couple times now since it's come out on Blu-ray. So I've seen 7 of the 9 Best Pictures, which is a really, really good thing here. And this Oscar race was a really big success. And actually, a few of you have been seeing it, which is good. And I hope and I'll make a playlist of this so a few people will see it more, so that's good. I really, really like this movie, though. It's, it's not on my top 10 list. One of the few Best Picture nominees outside of, say, I think Les Mis, I think, is the only other Best Picture nominee that's not on my top 10 list. With the other 2, Amour and Django, I haven't seen yet, so I can't tell you how they go. But when Amour comes out on DVD, I'm gonna actually. I think I take a French class. We'll probably watch it there because there's something about France involved with that. So okay, and then Django, I'm gonna try to see when it comes out on DVD and rent that as well. But I'm a Quentin Tarantino fan, so I'll probably just end up buying it anyways. But yeah, I've heard some good stuff with that. So okay, now that I've delayed this as long as possible, Beasts of the Southern Wild. The story basically is about a totally poor, dirt poor family that lives in the South. I think it's Louisiana or Florida, one of those two. And they live in this place called the Bathtub, which is kind of like this big community swarm where there's about 60, 70 people there maybe that live, and it's kind of a joyous place, the Bathtub. And the bathtub, no, it's not literally one bathtub. It's it's a community, basically kind of like a small town, or I guess you could say a village a little bit. But yes. So then suddenly, apparently in this story, because I don't know, maybe I wasn't following it or something wasn't linking when I was watching it, but the polar ice caps melt, or something happens and it floods. And so a lot of people get out. There's only maybe 20, 30 people or less left after these floods come in. And I mean, it's like Katrina floods. Maybe that's what it's supposed to be, but and it's based off a novel. I've not read nor heard of the novel before I even heard of the film. And so the 2, Hush Puppy and her father Wink, try their best to survive. And it can really be a powerful movie if you can really, really truthfully relate to them. If you know what it's like to be, on the edge, like you're working, but you still have to pay your bills, you still have to do blah, 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 and, your bank account's starting to drop, and your last paycheck is supposed to come in, but it hasn't come in yet, and, that despeраcy that you feel, yeah, I definitely can see where people can relate to that. I personally cannot relate to that because I don't have a job. Unless you guys, I count you as my job, but yeah. I definitely say that this film, you can relate to it, even if you aren't a bathtub membership, if you don't have a card to go to the bathtub, or if you've never been to Louisiana, or if you're not black, as the people in this movie are. which doesn't make a difference really, but anybody could be in this situation. You can definitely relate to it. And then I thought toward the last half hour, 40 minutes or so, is when it really started to gain momentum into the powerhouse film that it's been called. And I definitely saw where that was. That there was just the one thing, and this, I don't think it's a major spoiler, but right toward the beginning we're kind of introduced to, and we hear about these creatures. I can't remember what they're called for the life of me. But they're basically kind of like big wild pigs or something. And except they're like 6 stories tall or something. And I don't know if maybe the film didn't explain it well enough, but apparently they're real. That didn't click for me. I don't know. And of course, the Beasts of the Southern Wild, the title, I think it refers to 2 things. Number one, it refers to those god-awful pig things, whatever they are. Those things just didn't click for me. I did not like that aspect of it at all. But then also, there's a particular scene in which Wink and his daughter are having crab. They're kind of celebrating together. They're having crab, and then a neighbor or somebody says, "Hey, this is how you this is how you eat a crab." And he says, "Take a knife." And then the dad said, "No, no, you beast it!" And I was like, "You what?" And I was like, "Oh my God, what's she gonna do? Throw it against the wall or something?" But no, she was just rip the thing apart. So obviously, that could be another interpretation of it. The Beasts of the Southern Wild could be these 2. And their mother character, that whole story, I thought was really, really genuinely fantastic. I really wanted to believe at the end there that the woman that she meets, the cook or the waitress or whatever, was her mother, but I don't think she is, or it didn't quite clearly explain it. Maybe in the book it explains it better. But the whole thing where she, yells to her mother, and then sometimes she puts like I don't know what it was. It was like a jersey of some kind around a chair, and her mother's there, and we hear her voice, we hear her singing. That was kind of, I like that aspect of it a whole lot. And I think, now as far as like Oscar nominations go, this got 4 big ones. They got one for screenplay, one for acting, directing, which was the big surprise, and picture. Not quite as surprising, nor the other 2, nor the acting at least. The screenplay and the director were kind of the ones where everybody's like, "Oh, I guess the Academy really liked this movie." And there was a period there, I'm not going to, unfortunately I can't update or upload, sorry, my original reaction to the Oscar nominees video, because number one, it was way too long, and number 2, I don't know where it went. It disappeared, it vanished. Luckily I have hard copies of the other reviews, otherwise I would have lost all that and they just would have been on YouTube, and I would have had to illegally download them just for my own work, which I don't like that. So, but yeah, I said back then, maybe the Academy picked those awards because they really liked it, and maybe they got all those nominations because it'll win a couple of them. Of course, if you see any predictions list, Beasts of the Southern Wild is not going to win anything on tomorrow night. It is tomorrow night. Today's the 23rd of February. I know, it seems just like yesterday I was telling about my initial reaction to it. And now here we are. It's Oscar Eve, I guess you could call it. Okay, not to say it's a major holiday, but this is my Christmas. I enjoy Academy Awards, just the excitement of it and the visualization of seeing all these actors that you see on screen, never together, all together in one gigantic big hall. And Seth MacFarlane's hosting. I like Seth MacFarlane. I like his work. I've not seen Ted yet, but I really, really want to see Ted. It's even up for a nomination. I can't believe it. And I'm really, really looking forward to it, because I think there are going to be a few surprises tomorrow. I think there's going to be a couple categories that people can predict all they want, but you never truly know. Definitely some acting categories. And one, in fact, that Quincy Wallace was nominated for, Best Actress. I don't think anybody can clearly, there's no clear way to dictate where that's going to go. You could have... and I'll talk about this. I'm going to do another video where I make my final predictions. That'll come out tonight too. And then I think I'll do that next, and then do an Argo review just from watching it a couple times. Not a Lord of the Rings review either. I think Best Actress, it could go to one of 3 people. But Quincy Wallace definitely deserves this nomination. And I kind of thought, crept to my head when I first were watching the nominees live, the nomination announcements live, I thought, oh my God, they really went for Beasts of the Southern Wild. And then in the end, they say how many the film that get nominated for Best Picture, how many nominations they have total. And I saw 4. I was like, well, they adapted. I was like, oh, so it didn't get anything else for nominations at least. So then I said to myself when I was watching it, how many other nominations would this get if it wasn't already so packed an Oscar race in so many other categories, I guess. Well, my first prediction would probably be for Best Cinematography, Best Editing maybe, Original Score definitely. I love the score in this. The score, the main theme to it was really, really good. And I don't understand why they picked a few other films in there. Well, of course I have not seen all the nominees for Best Original Score, but that one's another one nobody quite knows how that one's going to go out either. Because you've got about 3 or 4 of them that are really competing. With the lowest end probably being Anna Karenina, or Karina Cananeer, or whatever you call that one. I haven't seen that one either. But definitely we're looking at another nomination for Best Supporting Actor had this been a bigger year for this film. If it would have been, I don't know, in a different year, and this year wouldn't have been so packed, then yeah, I think Dwight Henry would have definitely been a good pick for Best Supporting Actor nomination. And I really, really loved him in this film. And he gives just, I think, as strong and as promising, I guess you could say, a performance as Wallace. And Wallace, of course, the youngest nominee ever, totally impressed me. I totally believed her every second. Behind her eyes, I could see she was into this every single second she was on screen. She was this character. I don't know. I don't know how she does it. And at so young an age, it's incredible. And she's got a couple more movies lined up next year, 2014, 15. She's probably going to be very busy. Yes, she totally impressed me. I don't know what else to say. I mean, the film ended really well. I thought the ending was a little bit emotional, but not enough for me to weep like I did at freaking Terms of Endearment. Good God. But I like that movie too. I won't do a review of that naturally. But this week, it's Oscar week. I've been looking at a couple, I watched The Social Network again a few nights ago, which, yeah, I could go on a rant right now for about 10, 15, 20 minutes on how The Social Network is about 200 different ways so much better than King's Speech, but I won't do it. And then also I was going to watch tonight, I think, As Good as It Gets, which is another James L. Brooks film. And it's Jack Nicholson, and 2 of his Oscars have come from James L. Brooks, so that's quite good. Yeah. So Beasts of the Southern Wild, I think I gave it a 9 out of 10. Yeah, I am giving it a 9 out of 10. And when I watched it, I said that was really good as soon as it was over. And I think it's really, really a film that you should seek out. It hasn't made a whole lot of money. It's not really in theaters anymore. It's on DVD. Go find it on DVD. Now, Ben Zeitlin, the thing that was kind of getting me here throughout this whole a thought that kept creeping to my mind when I was watching this was, okay, was Ben Zeitlin's nomination sound? Was it really worthy of Oscar nomination? And when we see a snubs, I guess you could say, for Kathryn Bigelow, Ben Affleck, Tom Hooper, amongst others. Some saying, of course, Wes Anderson as well for Moonrise Kingdom, which I haven't seen yet, but I really want to see. And I think that he definitely should have gotten some consideration. Now, would I prefer to see Ben Affleck or Kathryn Bigelow, probably both, in favor of him and probably maybe Michael Haneke? Because I did enjoy David O. Russell's direction in Silver Linings. I think that nomination didn't really surprise me all that much, and I was really, really glad for his inclusion. So yeah, my match list would be Steven Spielberg, Ang Lee, Ben Affleck, Kathryn Bigelow, and then probably either David O. Russell, or depending on how much I liked, maybe, I don't know, maybe, oh God, I don't even know anymore. The 5th slot could have gone to anybody. Maybe David O. Russell. It could have gone maybe to Michael Haneke. Depends on how much I like him more. Could have gone to Quentin Tarantino. Could have gone to Tom Hooper. For Les Mis, I probably wouldn't have been too upset with it then. It could have gone even to Sam Mendes or Christopher Nolan. It could have gone to anybody. But the way it turned out, I think it's no accident that you see Ben Affleck and Kathryn Bigelow both snubbed. I think the Academy is trying to pull a fast one on us. In all honesty, I think that despite all the rumors of, you know, Warner Brothers campaign plans are the thing that put Argo back into the front runner slot for Best Picture, and I think it is going to win tomorrow night, and I'll be very, very happy for it. And it'll be, like I said, I think in my earlier review, the first time ever that my personal pick for the best film of the year matches that of the Academy's choice for Best Picture. And I'm really, really glad that they're finally listening to me, or I don't know what they're, yeah. Anyways, but as far as that goes, I think they are actually trying to make us think that maybe Argo is in a tough spot. But I think they really, really liked Argo. Otherwise, they wouldn't have given it 7 nominations. I mean, if they didn't like Argo and just kind of out of sympathy of everybody saying, well, you didn't nominate Ben Affleck, they just say, well, we'll nominate it for Best Picture, and that'll be it, with maybe a couple other nominations. But yes, I definitely think that the Academy is... it's no coincidence. It's no coincidence. I think there's something meaningful here. Maybe Affleck, they decided, was so good that he deserves an award that they can't give at directing this film. Now, of course, is it my favorite film of all time? And yes, I would immediately say, yes, that's absolutely true. Not quite, no. Even though it's the best film of this year, it's definitely going to be a film that I'm going to keep watching over the years and definitely keep looking back to and be glad I'm watching it. No, I don't quite think so. I think it's definitely, in my all-time 50 favorite movies of all time, or whatever, when I die, when I make that list, Argo might get a spot. Argo might get a spot. But we're looking at, what, over 125 years of film here. So yeah, definitely I say that the Academy made their choices. Ben Zeitlin being in for Best Director maybe means that later on they're going to nominate Ben Affleck for Best Director when he does something good as well. And I definitely hope he keeps up the great work, because his Argo was fantastic. And I'll get to that review soon, but for now, Beasts of the Southern Wild is definitely something I recommend.